I'm referring to my staff of our staff of the members of this committee. Had they been not there, the magazine would not have been in our hands. Big thanks to all of them. But we want to improvise the magazine from time to time. I have two requests with my CMA colleagues. Please subscribe to our magazine and please give us good inputs so that we can improvise the magazine. This is our official organ of the institute, which caters, which goes to everybody in the world, and we are rated very good in this particular market. But improvement is always improvement, and kindly come to us, kindly give us sessions to improvise the magazine more and more usefully, meaningful to everybody. Friends, this subject is known to every author. In fact, plagiarism, today we have got checks. Earlier, this plagiarism is not in that spirit, but there are many cases in the country especially which are not noticed by anybody that plagiarism is most common everywhere. I say that normally you can always copy a good thing, of course not in examination hall. What exactly I wanted to convince the people is, if you find any good thing, please copy it and use it, quote it, acknowledge the author, and inform to disseminate your knowledge. But that will not apply. Number one, in examination hall, you should not copy. One more area, such area is writing articles. Plagiarism may be intentional or unintentional. It may be direct sometimes. It may be accidental. It may be self-plagiarism also. I wrote article published long back. Again, I am asked to write an article of 2 or 3 years. I am so busy that I will not do any changes and send it for the publications, with the hoping that people will forget. But system will not forget. It will attract self-plagiarism. Normally, why plagiarism occurs is, say, being Indians, this is not our mother tongue. So we may do mistakes because of non-native. English is non-native to our. Had it been Bengali or Gujarati or Telugu or Hindi, we would not do such mistakes. It will not normally happen. So since the language is not our own language, it is possible. So one more possibility is, some authors I have seen, they send same article to different magazines. Impatient, they'll send to first one magazine, wait 2-3 months, it will not get published. Meanwhile, they send one more magazine that will be published earlier, and naturally he will attract plagiarism policy. And similarly, there are many occasions where these people will they don't quote properly, they don't acknowledge the author's name properly, they don't write source properly. Hence, they are subjected to criticism. Otherwise, we have in our contributors list very good authors. In fact, if you read the authors, their articles in the magazine, it will be interesting, inspirational, informative. But why mistake happens means it is purely accident. But I quote one small example, if you don't laugh at me. My close friend sent me an article for publication. Normally, I will not enter an article. I will ask them to directly send to the editor. They sent it. After 3 or 4 days, they are hesitant to talk to me. I said, what happened to magazine? Sir, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. What happened? I said, please tell me. Sir, this is 99.99% plagiarism case. I said, what happened? Believe me, my close friend did not luckily copy the author's name, except author's name, he has copied everything. In the place of author's name, he has put his own name and sent article to the magazine. Of course, we did not publish it, thanks to the team working here. It is not that we have disrespect to him or anything. The policy in newspapers also, if you observe, they don't publish stale news. They don't publish stale news if 24 hours delay. Sometimes you will find very important news is missing in local paper. First, they don't have time. Suppose if you impress them again, but they would say that it is stale news, we cannot publish. So at the end of the day, being professionals in the profession, all of us are CMS in the profession, we do accounting, auditing every day, and we are subject to a lot of code of conduct. We should not do any professional misconduct being senior practitioner. One more such way is that we should not be subject to plagiarism because that's the principle of intellectual honesty. We are always honest to maximum core, and today we will try to learn more and more tips from Agnihotri Madam, how to avoid or how to we come out of plagiarism. I all in lighter manner. You know the story of in Ramayana, Sita goes for Agni Pariksha. So every article should go for Agni Pariksha and come out of the Pariksha with clean. Then we are the first persons to the published article. I also love to hear more from Agnihotri Madam with her experience. Thank you, everyone, and all the best for the 266 attendees on a working day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So I would have the privilege of now introducing our resource person today, Dr. Madhu Agnihotri Madam. She is an assistant professor with over 12 years of teaching experience at undergraduate, postgraduate, and professional courses on information technology theoretical concepts and practical application. She has provided administrative support in the capacity of professor in charge for 4 years and has head of the department for 4 years for IT domain courses for commerce and management students at UG and PG level. She possesses strong multitasking skills with ability to manage and organize events such as industry talks, seminars, conferences in offline as well as virtual mode. She has several research publications and also co-authored a book on computerized accounting system and e-filing of tax returns. She is appointed as PhD supervisor at the Department of PhD Programs, Faculty of Commerce and Management, St. Xavier's College, Kolkata since October 2021. She has worked as visiting faculty in several colleges in Kolkata for undergraduate and postgraduate students of commerce and management, and also the visiting faculty at the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, EIRC, Kolkata. She is an UGC NET in Commerce, Doctorate in Commerce, Master of Computer Applications, Master of Commerce MCOM. She has been invited as resource person in various reputed organizations, mentioning few of them. Invited as a speaker in the 11-day pre-placement training program for qualified CMAs on 15th April 2023. Also invited as a resource person for Talk of the Month Series 2 on impact of Chat GPT on academia on 9th April 2023 by the Society for Academic Advancement. She has been invited to conduct a session on MS Excel as a financial analysis tool for members on 6th January 2023 by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and many more. These are just a few of them I just have shared. She has worked as organizer and committee member for conferences and workshops and in various orientation programs as well. So we welcome you, madam. Now handing over to Dr. Madhu Agnihotri, madam, for her presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such kind words and such so many things you have said. Uh, Thank you, Chairman Sir, for introducing the today's discussion, today's topic to the listeners here. And thank you, Chairman Sir, and the Sucharita ma'am, and the whole team of publication department for inviting me here. And I will try to discuss the topic, and I will try to also introduce you that how plagiarism is detected through the softwares and point out the things where the software actually detects can detect plagiarism. and so accordingly while writing your papers, you can be little cautious about those points, so that when you are writing your paper, so unintentionally also your work is not coming under this plagiarism issue. So let us start.
Madam,
So
we
yes,
have
sir,
got
please.
our own plagiarism policy. Should
Yes,
we
sir.
discuss here for a while or not necessary?
You
Our
can,
dish,
sir.
Madam, Sucheta, Madam, just tell in 2 minutes the policy what we have in our work, and we will seek like advice from Madam also about everything. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Yeah.
We all are trying to reduce our similarity index, that is, to avoid plagiarism. Now we have a policy regarding UGC guidelines. We have a policy regarding this. Similarity index up to 15% to be accepted. Similarity index lying between 16 to 30%. The submission of the article may be allowed. And more than 30% similarity index, we have to say sorry.
Okay,
Madam,
ma'am.
you please start.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you for giving this information also. So I will also address this in my talk. Okay, so shall I start?
Please start.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Start, madam. Please start.
Okay, is my screen visible to you?
The screen is not visible. You are visible.
I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible now?
Visible, madam, visible.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, so today's topic is plagiarism, principle of intellectual honesty. So here, let us just begin with just a quick introduction to the topic. So by intellectual, basically we mean a person who can reflect, who can whatever the data, the information the person is getting from the surrounding, from the field work or from the existing literature, can think over it, can grasp and reflect on the ideas, that the insights that are there in the paper, in that research paper, and from there the person can acquire some knowledge. So the intellectual, an intellectual, we understand that an intellectual can think rationally about about anything that the person sees or reads or analyzes or whatever he does. So intellectual honesty means, here by intellectual honesty we mean that the researcher will be able to apply his knowledge on solving the real world problems in a rational way. So here, as we are, our main focus is about the research publication here. So we are going to talk about the academic research here. So in academic research, the researcher needs to ensure that the ideas that the researcher is trying to place in his research, that has to be original, and whatever the relevant facts, the informations that are taken from other sources, those are not modified intentionally. So those has to be presented in the way it is presented in the original paper, and then it has to be also duly acknowledged that from this particular source the such information has been taken. So when we do any kind of research, any kind of academic research, so there these core values has to be, researcher needs to ensure that these core values are, the work is aligned with these core values. So these are the core values which ensures that the academic integrity is maintained in the research work. So when the researcher starts any research work, the first thing is researcher needs to identify the area of interest, and on that area the researcher needs to do an exhaustive literature review. Now, from that literature that the researcher analyzes or goes through, from that literature, the researcher needs to identify the gaps in the existing research, and those gaps finally helps to set the objectives of that particular research work. So, when this exhaustive literature review is being done, their proper citation, the proper acknowledgement of the original researcher who has done the research, that is very, very significant. Also, even if when we take up some idea from the existing research, those ideas also we need to acknowledge, we must acknowledge that from this particular research paper we have taken that idea. Also, whatever, like sometimes in the research paper, sometimes we want to show a process flow or some kind of block diagram that represents the flow of data or information related to the context. So in that case, if we are creating our own diagram, then it is fine. But if we are taking it from some existing research or some existing model we are trying to implement, in that case also, even if we are taking a diagram, below that we also need to mention the source, that is from where we have picked up that particular diagram or the table. So whatever we are referring from the existing work, we are using from the existing work, each and everything must be mentioned clearly. Another very significant point is that sometimes we are taking the secondary data. Means the data has been collected by somebody else or some other agency, some other research agency, and that existing data we are going to use in our own research to, from a different dimension, to identify some, to find out some different perspective of that. So in that case, also, when we are taking up the data, we have to be careful that we are using the data in its, we are not altering the data. We are using the data as it is. Then we can apply various tools or mechanisms to analyze the data. That we can do, but we should not alter the data to suit our requirement. So all these different type of things uh, together constitutes the academic integrity. We need to maintain transparency in the work that we are doing. That is the idea from where we have taken the existing literature that we have referred to, and the data that we are taking, from where we have taken it. All these things must be clearly mentioned. Say, for example, the data that we are taking, sometimes we forget to mention that from which particular organization we have taken it, it covers which particular time frame, it covers which particular geographical region. So these type of details sometimes we do not provide, and because of that also it comes under the similarity index, high similarity index. So whatever we take up, we have to have very clear picture about the whole thing, that what exactly we are trying to achieve through the research work, then what literature we are referring to, from which literature we are referring which type of idea or data or insights, then what table or figures we are taking from other work, existing work, all the things must be placed very, very clearly. Then what research methodology we are going to follow, then there what data we are going to use. If we are going to take the primary data, then from where we are taking all the each and every detail must be mentioned clearly in the paper step by step. So basically for writing a research paper, there are a very broad outline is there. Like first there has to be an introduction which should give the background and the rationale of the study. Then there should be exhaustive literature review done. Literature review also should be placed in a very systematic way. It should be in a chronological order, how the author names are written, how we need to write the title of the paper, from where we have taken it. It is from a journal, or is it from a book, or is it from some print media? So from where we have taken the article, that also should be clearly mentioned. Now, when was this article published? Uh, or that particular journal may have 100 pages. So on which particular specific page this article appears, each and every minute detail has to be very, very clearly stated in our research work. These days, apart from referring to the journal, many the hard copy of these, we are also referring to the e-journals, and also a lot of content we are getting in online mode. So when we are picking up something from a website, even the annual reports and all, we take it from the websites. The from the websites, when we are taking the data, at that time the URL, the URL, that it means the link through which we can reach out to that particular page or that particular content, so that URL we need to copy and place it in our research work as a reference, as citation. Now, here in case of this online reference, we also need to be very careful that we must mention that on which date it was retrieved. It is very, very important in case of online the content that we refer online, because the URL that is functional today, maybe after a year or two, that URL may become non-functional. That particular organization, the company, may send that data, those reports, into archives. So in that case, the link, the URL is going to change. So it means the URL that you are placing in your research work today may not be functional after 2 years. So somebody else if tries to locate that afterwards, so in that case, it may not work. So to avoid this type of issue with the URL, always the researcher must mention that as retrieved as on, and that date should be mentioned. So these are the various small points that must be included in your research work, so that it gives a very clear, transparent idea to the reader that what is the topic, the research is done on which particular topic, from where the what literature has been referred to, from where the data has been collected and used in that particular paper, what research methodology is being applied there, and then the analysis part, and after that finally the conclusion, the insights from that research work, and the concluding part. So these needs to be mentioned very, very clearly, so that ensures that in that research work the proper the research work, the academic integrity is maintained, that honestly that work has been done. Now plagiarism, to put it in a simple way, it means that the work has been somebody else has done some research work, and a researcher is putting the somebody else's work into his own research and presents it as if it has been done by the researcher. So presenting the ideas or the research done by others can be used in our own research, but there is a proper way of including it. Just like as Chairman Sir has also told that definitely we have to refer to the existing research, we have to refer to the contents that are already available. We need to take the content also, but then there is a proper way of referring the content, a proper legal way of referring to the content, and we need to follow that, we must follow it. If we do not follow it, in that case our content will come under the this plagiarism thing. So that is very very significant. So whatever material we refer to, whether it is published in some journals, whether it is not published yet, whether it is work in progress, whether it is in online mode, whatever it is, if we refer to something, if we are using something from some content from some others work, that has to be duly acknowledged in our own work. These days various AI tools are available through which lot of content can be generated, and these AI tools are very useful. I will not say that these should not be used. Yes, this should be used, but then again, there is a way of using it. So we need to learn, we need to understand that how a particular tool can be useful for my research. So AI tools we can use, but these AI tools should be used only to generate the idea. Like say for example, at the beginner level, somebody is just starting the research work and wants to get the idea about the topic. The person might be not very clear about the way, the structure of a research paper. So in such cases, the person can take help of the AI tools, and from there can generate the idea, can understand, can learn. But then it has to be our own work that we put into our research paper. And in fact, in Turnitin, we have the AI detection mechanism as well. So even if a AI tool is used to generate the content and put into the research paper, so apparently it looks like it's a very good research work done. But when it is put to these systems, I will show you that also uh, after this discussion. So when it is put to such software, in that case, you will see that software can easily identify that whether the content is human generated or it is AI generated. And one more important thing, if while using AI tools, we need to see is that sometimes we like if you want, you can ask an AI tool also to give you the list of literatures for a specific topic. So it can give you, it will give you the explanations, some insights, and also will give certain references. But in AI tools, always those references are not correct. So it has to be always, you have to refer to the original content, refer to that. From there, you need to develop own understanding, and with that we should put that in our research work. Also, if we are using our own work, that also needs to be cited properly. So suppose 2 years ago I published one paper, and that same content, from there I want to use some insight into my current research work, so I can do that. But that paper has to be cited properly. I cannot say that that is my paper only, so that is why without even giving reference I can always use it. But that is not the right way, because once it is published, it is in the public domain, it is published, and then it has to be my own work, it has to be cited properly. Otherwise, this also calls for self plagiarism. So there are various types of plagiarism. I will quickly go through these. So secondary sources, sometimes like when we are referring to a particular research paper, in that research paper, suppose that researcher has included a citation, the work done by some other researchers. So the literature review done by this first researcher, we are referring that, and through that we are reaching to the second researcher's work. Now, so this second researcher work is the primary source from where actually the data has come to the first researcher, and from there I am going through that content. So now when we want to use this kind of work, we need to acknowledge both the secondary source as well as the primary source. Both should be acknowledged. I have one example file. I will just show you after this types of plagiarism is discussed. So both should be acknowledged. Sometimes what happens in our work, we refer to the primary source, but we do not refer to the secondary source. So that should not be done, because secondary source has put an effort in finding that primary source and has used it in its research. So that acknowledgement must be given. So another is invalid source. Sometimes, just as I said, some AI tools gives the list of references, but many are incorrect or non-existent. So it should not be given in that way. Whenever we are giving any reference in our paper, that must be a valid reference, properly validated reference. So that must be checked properly. And if we want to use our own research work, we must cite it properly. Otherwise, this calls for self-plagiarism. Another thing is paraphrasing. Like, say we suppose want to take when we are referring to the research work done by others, there uh, we like the idea, the research that has been done, and from there we want to take some insights in our work. Fine. Now, when we want to take that work in our own research, there are multiple ways of doing it. If it's a small statement, some statement, as it is, we want to bring it. In that case, we have to put it within double quotes, and then we can place it in our own work. But then another better way is that we should read the work done. From there, we need to develop our own idea and then write that in our own research paper with proper citation. So that is paraphrasing. So it should not be like I am rewriting it in my own language, but then if I do not give proper referencing, it will again come under plagiarism. So refer to a research paper, understand this, all the important insights that you want to use in your research work, take that, write it in your own language with proper citation. So that comes under this paraphrasing. Repetitive research, like when we are uh, using the same idea done by others, but then again we are not giving proper citation. In that case, that is again a problem. And the same research work must not be submitted to multiple publications. So that again calls for plagiarism. It should not be done. If it is submitted to a journal, we need to wait till we get the acceptance or the refusal letter, whatever it is. But we need to wait for that. Before that, we should not submit it to any other place. And sometimes what happens that maybe five people collaborated together to do a particular research, but in the paper only four people's name is given, and then maybe two names are given who has actually not contributed in the research work. So this kind of thing should not be done to maintain the academic integrity part. So honestly, it should be done. And when we are this is called verbatim plagiarism, that is which I said little bit while talking about the paraphrasing. That is, when we want to take the work done by others, we need to put it within the quotation marks, within the double quotes. And again, there is a way of doing it. If you want to bring more content, like suppose some kind of theory you want to use that has been given by some other researcher, and that you want to quote as it is in your work. In that case, there is another way of doing that. I will show you that. And this is the extreme case of plagiarism, that is completely the paper is done by somebody else. So you just simply take it, remove the name, put your name, and give it for publication, submit it for publication. So that must not be done. So these are some of the main types of plagiarism. So these are the common terms that comes with this, and there is a UGC guideline for that. So I think as that time I was not aware of the institute's mm, the plagiarism policy, so that is why I kept this on the slide that time. So just for UGC, if you see for the research publication, they up to 10% they accept it as it is, but 10 to 40% usually they are asked to withdraw the manuscript, or they can uh, rewrite and submit it as a fresh submission. And for the institute, as ma'am has mentioned, that up to 15% it is accepted, and 16 to 30 submission is allowed, but then it will not be accepted. Maybe some modifications are required, and then it may be considered as a fresh submission, and then it can be rechecked. And if it is beyond that limit, obviously the paper will be rejected from publication. So because it requires a major revision in that case. So now I come to this software discussion now. Turnitin, it is a very, very effective tool to detect similarity index. In fact, UGC also has uh, propose the use of this software in academic institutes to check the similarity index. So this, I will just show you one example here, like okay. So when I think it has put me outside, signed out me automatically. So just give me a second. I've signed in again, and I'm just sharing the screen again now. Yes, can you see my screen? So this is the main screen of Turnitin, and from here I'm going to the authenticate screen where I can check the plagiarism. So here I just uploaded earlier yesterday, today only actually, early morning, two sample papers just to show you the results. Here I will show you first the settings. So whenever the submitted papers are checked for plagiarism, so these are the settings usually that are done. So the papers that are submitted are checked through the cross-reference database and internet, and all the popular publications, almost was all reputed publications, our publication database uh, is attached over here with the company, and so their database is exhaustive one, and it does the it provides a very, very good and most accurate similarity index report. And from this, few things are excluded from the similarity index, that is the bibliography, the quotes that are taken. So it means that when we are referring to some content from the already published work, within double quotes we can write something, but it should be less than 40 words. If it is more than that, in that case, within double quotes it will not be excluded from the similarity report. In that case, there is another way of writing it. And the citations that we give, because sometimes the same citation we are using multiple times in the paper, so that is also excluded from the similarity report. Also sometimes the style of writing, that also matches, because like say I am writing this study proposes. So this study proposes, it's a very common phrase that is used by almost all the researchers, or the analysis concludes such and such things. So the analysis concludes. So these type of small matches should be excluded from the similarity report settings. Otherwise, all the small phrases will also be included and the percentage will be quite high. So UGC recommends that if the small matches are less than 14 words, then it is also excluded from this. So these are the main settings for the plagiarism, the similarity index checking here. And just I'll show you some example. Like as I was discussing the types of plagiarism, I told that the secondary source and the primary source both should be mentioned. So for it, of course, this content I have taken from the APA website itself as an example, because I took it from the, I hope you know the reference style. APA is the most authentic, is the in practice. Mostly, most of the many journals use that. So from their website only, I have picked up all these examples. So here, for the secondary source, like here it is written as if you read a work by this particular author, in which this particular author was cited. So the work is of 2014. This is my secondary source, and this rabbit 1982, it is my primary source. Okay, so when these both the papers we have referred, so when we are using this in our work, in our research work, in that case it should be written like this, that is rabbit 1982, this is the primary source as cited in this paper. This is the secondary source. So when we refer it in this manner, so we are acknowledging both the researchers here, the primary researcher as well as the second primary source, primary researcher, and the secondary source as well. Another thing is, now next is another example for paraphrasing. Now, when we paraphrase something, in that case, the proper citation has to be given. Say, for example, here, this content from this, a case example of such and such is taken. This content has been taken from a paper written by Webster Stratton in 2016. So this idea from there they have picked up, the author has picked up, has rewritten its own language and is giving a proper citation that this author in 2016 described a case example of such and such thing. Okay. Now, when we are referring to these, if it is a range of pages in that particular journal, in that particular research paper, then this pages also has to be referred like this, that is pp dot, say, page numbers. Now it's a range, and if it is a single page, you can just write p dot and then simply the page number. Okay, and if multiple citations are there, in that case, money, it means the same citation is has to be repeated again and again, then also it must be done throughout. It should not be like, suppose two factors has been identified from these two papers, another factor has been identified from one from the previous one and another paper. So when it is a combination of certain things where the same citation is being repeated, that also must be repeated that many times. Acha. And just somewhere I read that some authors make a mistake in writing this et al. So this et al, this et, after et there is no dot. Please just note that after et just space al dot. So these are very small things, but these are very important when we are sending it for publication. For verbatim plagiarism, as I told, that if you are taking up something, in that case, as it is, if you are picking some content as it is, it has to be put within double quotes. Like in this, the one which is highlighted right here on the screen. So this highlighted area, this has been picked up as it is from another research work. So we can put it within double quotes. If it's less than 40 words, it's fine. It is accepted. And within bracket, definitely we need to give the proper citation. So Edwin et al. 2018, page number 470. I was telling you, if it is a single page, you can write P dot and then the page number. But if it is more than 40 words, sometimes in suppose some theory that has been modeled by some other researcher and you want to place it in your own work, in that case this has to be put in this manner. Suppose this is the theory, in that case it has to be put in this indented manner. So, and of course the citation has to be there. Okay, and so these are just some of the examples. And for citation, when we are writing these, I hope you have noticed here, wherever the citation has been given, like say a single author I am looking for, Holler et al. Okay. Wherever the citation is given, like say you can see that the first alphabet is coming in capital. Okay, so these are certain rules that should be followed while writing the citation. Like author names, the first name should be the initials and the last name should come like this. The Let's say just few I am saying, and the further the remaining whole guideline you can get on the APA website, apa.org. So there in detail each and every point is given. That is when you are writing it within the text, then how to write the citation, and when you are writing it for the references, in that case how it should be written. And say when you are writing want to refer to a work done by one author, it can be written like this, and when it is by multiple authors, in that case it can be written like this. And all these are the last names, not the first names. So first names should appear as the initials and the last name should appear as a reference, and then the year of publication has to be mentioned. And if it is more than 3 authors, in that case this et al. Is used. Okay, so whatever tool you use, whether you are writing it manually or you are using various some tools for generating the references, these points must be considered while creating your references. And as I mentioned, if you are using any table, in that case you can definitely take a table even as it is, but then very clearly source of that particular table must be mentioned. It should be properly labeled also. Sometimes that labeling is not done properly, so labeling should be done. Numbering of the tables, numbering of the figures, that is also very important in the research paper. So in the whole paper, suppose there are 3 tables you have put and there are 5 figures you have put, graphs or so, like that. So each and every graph, the tables that you are using there, each must be numbered properly. Okay, so now coming back to this, now here these are the 2 sample just papers I have uploaded, and just will show you the plagiarism report now. Now see here, when it shows the plagiarism report, you see here it is showing 45% overall similarity. It means that in this paper 45% of the content, 45% of the content is uh, having similarity with all these resources which are mentioned here. In this panel where I am navigating right now on the right side of the screen, you can see that 12%, the first source is representing 12%, means 12% of this content has been taken from this particular website. And it is also giving all the details about this 7 text blocks. 7 blocks are there where the content has been taken as it is, and you can see that it is highlighted here in this color, and the content that has been taken is highlighted as it is. On the right hand side, you can see it is also showing you the source link. So if you want to refer to the original document, the reviewer, can refer to the original document through this. So if I click on this, it will take me to the original document from where, see, it is taking me to this website from where the content has been taken. So all these we can understand, the reviewer can understand from here. So that is why the content should not be taken in this manner as it is. Here you can see the content has been taken and here no citation is given. See, there is no citation over here. So it means the content has been taken from there, but due acknowledgement, proper citation has not been done. And here I can navigate through this, like say it is taking me to the second block of the site, second block of the content that has been taken from here, similarly taking to the third block, fourth block, and so on. So in this manner we can analyze and then we can see that how we can so in this manner actually we reviewers can find out that from where it has been taken, and we find out the sources, and also we find out that how much content has been taken as it is and what is the case. So that is why it should not be done directly. You must, uh, while preparing your content, you need to be very, very careful. That is, if you are taking the content from somewhere as it is, it must be given, put in double quotes. If it is not double quotes, it is more than 40 words, proper indentation has to be maintained, and of course the references has to be given in a very, very proper way. Now this sample2.docx, this one actually I created using this chat GPT. Here only I created, like say, I wrote meme marketing strategies here and I generated this content. This content I placed in a Word file and saved it as a sample2 file, and I have uploaded that over here. I uploaded the sample2.docx file here. Now it is showing me similarity 2%. See, so right now, apparently the sample2 file is showing a very good similarity index, right? Now I click on this. Now here, the content that it is showing, the similarity index, here you can see the similarity index it is showing is 2% overall similarity. So it's very good. We can see that the paper is quite good. Only one line is plagiarized for similarity index. But now have a look at the AI writing. If we click on this, it is showing how much of the submission has been generated by AI, 100%. So it is accurate in measuring this right now, at least for this paper right now. As I told you that I generated it yesterday in this. See, you can match it with this. I created it in ChatGPT and it has created a full paper. I write a research paper on meme marketing containing 900 words. So even the size I have given and it has created the whole paper for me. And see here, through these tools, we can identify that how much content is generated through AI tool. So that is why proper precaution has to be taken. It should not be used in this manner. We can use these type of tools to develop the idea, to understand how to write the content, or a basic framework we can see, we can understand. And I think better than this, actually, we can refer to the existing research papers, which will give us much, much better idea and about the way of writing. But of course those are little complicated for the beginners to understand. So just to begin, just to get the idea, the tools are okay, but not beyond that. It should not be used beyond that. So in this manner, basically we review the papers, and so while writing the paper, the proper care should be taken so that these type of mistakes we do not do. And so with this, I stop now. I think I have taken full time, and I try to clarify the points. If there are any questions, you can tell.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we have some questions.
Yes.
Standard tool to check plagiarism. Madam, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Is there any standard tool to check plagiarism?
Yes, this Turnitin software that I have shown as a demo. So this is the most standard one, which is used by all the reputed institutes, universities to check the plagiarism.
Sometimes, even if some data is taken from the primary source only and is given in the footnotes, and also the other content is purely from the author, the plagiarism checkers sometimes say that we have taken the content from some other websites that the author has not even referred to. Can you please shed light on why this happens, madam?
Yes, this happens because these tools that we use to find out the plagiarism percentage, basically not plagiarism percentage, it is actually similarity index that we try to find out. Now this different people, two people can have the same writing style, because we all are using English language. So the way I'm writing, like as I'm saying, the study focuses on suppose marketing techniques in online platform. So it's a very common kind of statement. So it might have been written by other authors as well. So even if a person has not referred to the website, even in that case, this type of statement may come under plagiarism. So that is why these tools are indicative. These tools gives us an indication that uh, this much percentage similarity index is there. Now sometimes if the review, here the role of reviewer comes, that reviewer also has to see that what type of content is coming under plagiarism. So that has to be examined thoroughly, and then accordingly decision should be taken.
If an author sends an article, the Mosaic plagiarism will also detect the same.
Well, the free softwares doesn't identify it very accurately. It can to some extent, but not fully.
In the plagiarism, pictures are also covered.
Not always. But even then, it is our duty, it is our accountability that we must always mention the source below that.
Okay.
Because here it is text content similarity index, it is checking. And the table that is taken, sometimes what happens in the table is created by the author. It is related to the previous question, that question also. Table is created by the author, but then as the headings or the terms which are used there are common, it is coming under plagiarism. So that is why sometimes it is recommended that you can convert that table into an image and then place it there. But then there should be a declaration. There must always be a declaration that it has been self-created by the author or the source from where it has been taken.
If anyone is presenting a case study, shall it be included, the reference shall be included right after the case study or at the end of the work?
At the end of the work, references has to be there. That is there. But then wherever, if any content is taken from the company's website, a case study, so a particular, definitely a company or some case is there, so some documents are referred for that. So if anything is taken from those documents, then the citation must be present within the work also. And wherever the content you are taking, a simple straight principle, wherever you are taking a content from some other work, whether directly or indirectly, or you are paraphrasing, whatever it is, if you are taking some content from somewhere else, it must be acknowledged.
Some online AI detection tools fail to detect AI. How to find out as a publisher if it is AI content? Any effective tools, ma'am?
Yes, Turnitin, I have shown you just now. So it can identify whether it is AI generated content or not.
How to cite the secondary source along with the primary source and how to present it?
Yeah, that example also I have shown in the example section I have shown. Shall I show it again?
Yes, ma'am, you can show because the participant is asking.
This one here. Like this is the primary source. You can see the screen, right? This is the primary
Yeah.
source as cited in, then this is the secondary source. It is a secondary source. Excuse me. Okay.
Turnitin software tool, whether it is free or it's chargeable.
No, it is chargeable. It is paid. But they have very good database reference, so that is why their results are considered as authentic throughout the world, actually.
And ma'am, which organization has a strong plagiarism policy?
Which organization means?
Has the strong plagiarism policy? Member has asked.
A question is not clear to me
Okay.
because it depends on the publisher, the journals. So the high-end journals, the international journals, mostly they are having very strong plagiarism policy. So it depends on the
Depends.
publisher,
Depends.
yeah. Yes,
Publisher.
the
Yes.
institution, the organization, how they are
Mm-hmm.
using and implementing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So with this, we have come to the close of our question answer session now. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
such a nice presentation, madam. So now I would request our chairman, sir, CMA Dr. KCH Aves and Murthy, sir, for his to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, madam. You have given us very good insights of the plagiarism
Thank you, sir.
policy, live examples, good examples. It will definitely prompt our friends to act upon these techniques and suggestions. Very practical. And you in our first slide, I think you have shown 5 principles of plagiarism: objectivity, honesty, trust. Can you go back to it? Can you go back to it? First, very
Yes,
first,
sir. Yes, sir.
please, 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 please. Yeah, thank you. Objectivity, honesty, openness, fairness, accountability. Thank you, madam. You can now. Why I have referred this because these are the principles that apply to our profession also. We being auditors, cost accountants, these 5 principles apply to us in our regular life. Being auditor, audit in any capacity, we deal with the numbers, we deal with clients. These are the first primary principles what we follow, and if we don't follow them, we are subject to misconduct actually. So similarly, in this intellectual honesty of the principle with reference to plagiarism also, we should follow all these 5 principles. That's why I wanted to bring a similarity between our profession with the writing of articles policy. That's what that's really I gotten back to it. A big thanks to you. And it may look inappropriate for a while, but please think logically. Valmiki Ramayanam was the original script about Ramayanam in India or in India. That was supposed the first book on Ramayanam, 24,000 stanzas. After that, Tulsi Das wrote Ramcharitmanas. These are the 2 books what we take in India as the primary sources of Ramayana. But believe me, there are 300 books about Ramayanam in different languages in the country. Not only one language. In if say take Telugu, Bengali, Tamil, Kannada, everything, you find 300 versions. In some basic difference between Valmiki and Ramcharitmanas is Rama is a human being in Valmiki Ramayanam. Rama is a god in Ramcharitmanas. Basic big difference. And you find all 300 Ramayanams are quite interesting. They will help you to understand the Ramayana very well. That means the proverb is who knows Ramayana is one question number 1. Proverb number 1 is who knows Ramayana. The second is most controversial, who does not know Ramayana. Everybody, all 140 crores know Ramayana. in their own different style. They touch all those philosophical aspects of Ramayana in their regular routine ways. This is, I'm not talking about plagiarism angle, but this is how the message, the books, epics are being carried till today. Of course, we have plagiarism policy, not to have anything bad, to only strengthen the original thought of the work. That means I have done my work. It is I am owning. If there is no plagiarism, it means I am owning it. That satisfaction is somewhat different than copying anything and getting a degree. No, I want that satisfaction of it's mine, it's my property, it's my baby, like that we call. So thank you for enlightening us about plagiarism, and you can see 360 people on a working day, Tuesday, in the month of March itself, indication to you that the subject is very, very important, and the speaker has done his justice, her justice very, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you so much, sir. So may I now request Ms. Churika Chakraborty, Madam, Additional Director and HOD, Journal and Publications, for the vote of thanks. Madam.
Namaskar. Thanks. Such a word that cannot be seen, that cannot be touched. It is a feeling. I am thankful to all our members. I convey my sincere thanks to our chairman, sir, for his encouragement, for his guidance. I special thanks to Madhu Agnihotri, Dr. Madhu Agnihotri, my friend also. And I also thankful to my team members, Mrs. Devjani Sengupta, Mr. Sandeep Agarwal, Indrakshi Bhattacharya, Mrs. Shumalika Chakraborty, our flag designer Dipan Raj Chaudhuri, and our IT support Mr. Arun Haldar. It is a series. We have conducted 3 webinars. First, we are expecting articles from the CMS. And for writing, first you have to read. And to read, what to read? We have a JGET platform. You can read our articles, read different type of articles from JGET platform. And thereafter, reading, you have to craft your articles. And thereafter, after writing your articles, you have to focus about the similarity index. So we conducted 3 webinars. First webinar we conducted on JGET, 30th November. Second webinar we conducted the craft for writing articles by Dr. Paritosh Basu on 19th January. And this third one is Dr. Madhu Agnihotri, plagiarism. You please view it. It is available on in the YouTube. It is available. You please view it thoroughly. Follow it. Okay. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So with this, we have come to the close of the program. And thanks to Madam, Sir, our speaker, our IT department, our team for their utmost support as always. So with this, we have come to the close of the program.
Thanks to Indrakshi. Thanks to Indrakshi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
For comparing. Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have come to the close. Thank you.